ECU?
R.
Do you bleed purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors?
Hoist the colors!
It's time for the most in-depth look into the world of ECU athletics. Welcome to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Here's Stephen Igo.
Welcome in. It is Hoist the Colors on a Thursday, May 22nd edition of the program. Game day once again for East Carolina baseball. The Pirates are set to play in the American Athletic Conference Tournament winners bracket at approximately 4:30-ish p.m. Eastern Time, as there will be a 1 o'clock game between UTSA and Tulane, and the victor of that will advance to the winners bracket on Saturday to await the emerging team from the losers bracket, and they will have to lose twice on Saturday to prevent getting to the title game on Sunday. So ECU and also Charlotte in the same boat as well, as they will play around 4:30. Charlotte, winners of 10 in a row. Pirates trying to find a way to extend their regional streak. They got to win the tournament to do so. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. If you got a question, a comment, a concern, drop it in the chat. We'll get to it over the course of the next hour. Much to talk about. Obviously, game day for ECU. Also is going to be game day for the Greenville Yard Gnomes of the Coastal Plain League, who play at Guy Smith Stadium. We'll have General Manager John McCormick and head coach and manager Jack Schaefer in studio here shortly as well to talk about the Yard Gnomes and their season. A lot to look forward to, and they'll have some Pirates on the roster as well. So some local baseball on the way along with Pirate Baseball. Philip Pilkington is back in the 94.3 The Game studios production room. And Philip, not only are you producing this, but you finally get to participate in a watch-along here in about 4 hours, as we're going to be joined, I know, by Chance Scott, Hoist the Colors intern, also operates the Pirate Pulse. And there's a rumor that Kason Romaley is going to drive down.
Oh, my goodness.
And join us on the watch-along as well. So I'm thrilled, and I hope it's as successful as Tuesday, although I'm a little nervous with you joining. You could bring some bad mojo, no offense.
Hey, you know, look, Kason participated in the first watch-along last year, and we got our rear ends handed to us.
This is true.
If they lose, it is 100% Kason Romaley's fault. Please direct all comments on the message boards at Kason Romaley. He would be the bum that would bring us bad luck if we do, in fact, lose today.
And to Kason's credit, he'll take the blame, and he is that sort of stand-up guy. So looking forward to that, as always, and as we did on Tuesday, we will have giveaways for Hoist the Colors subscriptions, so tune in live, and we will let you know how to win. And we gave away 9 different subscriptions, including a 6-monther, a 3-monther, and 7 one-month subscriptions on Tuesday. I've handed out 7 of those 9 subscriptions. We actually gave away 10 because we had a double winner. So tune in live, presented by Basil's today. React with us, have a good time, and maybe take home a subscription as well. So plenty of reason to tune in. All right, Charlotte ECU. Early day vibes. Philip, how are we feeling?
I don't know if I am feeling. I think
no
this
vibes?
Is, no. I think this is one of those games where you go in and you feel like all cards are on the table and you have no idea what kind of hand you're going to be dealt. I feel like we have not been able to count any cards. This is the beginning of the game of blackjack, and even though both teams have played a game, look, they both rolled their starter out there. You know, unfortunately, we don't have Ethan Young available as well as Ethan Norby, or so we think. Not confirm anything with an injury or deny anything, just the amount of pitches and everything with those two. And they're out their starter, which is what we expected coming into this thing. So, you know, I think both teams played well enough in Game 1 to feel good about winning Game 2. I don't understand, or it wouldn't understand either team feeling bad about this one. No team has a right to. And look, at the end of the day, I think we're going to have a good vibe check by about the end of the second inning. I'm probably going to give you a much better answer. I know I just kind of, sandbagged the question the way that Tulane sandbags the regular season. But, hey, I mean, I really just don't have any. What about you?
To be honest, my prediction going into the tournament was ECU would beat South Florida in the opening game and then lose to Charlotte in the winner's bracket game. You don't want to see a team that's this hot in the postseason with everything to play for, as obviously Charlotte, they're kind of on the bubble, but they still probably at least Yeah, they probably need to win the championship to really get in. But as we get closer to first pitch, I honestly am feeling some better vibes from ECU. I don't know why. It's just a gut feeling. I think you're. I don't want to say you're playing with house money because obviously if you lose, your season's kind of over. But it's just something. I have a decent feeling about this game. It's kind of similar also to the USF series in that USF won 2 out of 3, but I think the teams are pretty even. I do think Charlotte has a little more depth and a little more physicality up and down their lineup, but they're not a great defensive team, and they're not a team that steals a bunch of bases. So if ECU can keep them in the yard, I think they've got a chance to win this game. So a lot will depend on, is the wind blowing out? And specifically, is ECU able to pitch away from that to a degree, or at least limit the damage? And then the other factor is early runs. We saw how much of a difference it made on Tuesday, getting some early offense. Braden Burst staking it the first play of the game, or the first pitch of the game, with a ringing single in the center field, and then the Pirates kind of rolled from there. So pitching matchup-wise, we don't know what East Carolina is going to do yet. You would assume Charlotte is going to throw their number 2 starter, Andrew Cribbs. He went 3-2 during the regular season, a 4.13 ERA, 61 innings pitched, 60 strikeouts, 26 Ks, 254 batting average against. Solid pitcher for the most part, going to be around the strike zone, but he is not a guy that's necessarily unhittable. Just solid stuff against ECU on April 12th. He went 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. The big thing with Charlotte is they've got their top bullpen arms available. Joseph Taylor is their closer, also a guy who can go 3-4 innings. He has pitched up to 5 2/3 innings at one point this season. He's even started some games as well, or has the potential to start, I should say. So Joseph Taylor is probably the guy you're going to see early out of the bullpen. They also have a couple lefties. Chase Carson, a lefty they rely on quite a bit, along with Tanner Kaler. So I don't, it's kind of like what Dylan Johnson said yesterday. I don't think you're scared going into this game. I just think you have to kind of realize what Charlotte's strengths are, and if you walk a bunch of guys and they run into one, and a solo home run becomes a 3-run shot, that's when you can get in trouble going into this game.
I think so, and I think another thing that you can get in trouble with is not playing a 9-inning game. And I know that sounds cliche, but let's talk about the other night. We got out big against FSU, and FSU's not a team that plays really great from behind. We talked about it. You talked about it yesterday. They're a team that likes to steal bags. They're a team that's very aggressive, and they felt that they could not play their brand of baseball being down. You just mentioned a lot of guys for Charlotte. None of those guys are standout names, but Charlotte is one of the more consistent teams in this league. That's the reason they're on this win streak. It's not because they're dangerous. It's not because they're even really extremely hot, in my opinion. It's just the fact that with the exception of Blake Gillespie, when you get from 2 to 8 or 9 in this rotation, you're looking at guys, maybe they have different strengths and different weaknesses, but at the end of the day, they're all sitting around that 4.5 ERA. When you look at their lineup, yeah, they got a few guys that can hit decent, but they just hit. They make you pay when you miss over the white. They can hit home runs. They're not going to beat you in a home run derby, but they put the balls in play. They don't strike out a lot. They're just a consistent baseball club, and they play just as good in front as they do from behind. And if you don't play 9 innings against this team, you're going to lose. You show up for 9 innings, you stand a good chance because, again, they're not phenomenal, but they're consistent.
Charlotte's 36-20 overall. They're up to 56 in the RPI. Probably still not enough for an at-large berth. They're only 1-6 quad 1. 5-5 quad 2 is decent, but just 6 wins between quad 1 and quad 2. 85th strength of schedule. And so I don't think they have the metrics to get in as an at-large, unless maybe they make the championship game and lose a close one to UTSA. They would maybe be more on the bubble, but they're probably still on the outside looking in. They'd likely have to win this tournament to make it. So pivotal game. No team, we talked about it, has ever come out of the loser's bracket to win the American Athletic Conference tournament title. It just takes a toll on your pitching. So the winners of today's game, whether it be Tulane or UTSA on that side and ECU and Charlotte on the ECU side of the bracket, are going to be your favorites to win the championship. You get another day's rest. You don't have to play Friday. And then once you get to Saturday, the team coming from the loser's bracket who has to play an extra game has to beat you twice. It is extremely difficult to do. And ECU has made the championship game in that regard, but they were not unable to finish it coming out of the loser's bracket. Some comments here. Lane Smith says, if ECU plays like it did the first 5 innings, we roll the Niners. As Philip said, yeah, if you played that for all 9 innings, it's just, can you actually do that? That is the question. Johnny Robertson said the Pirates snapped UTSA's 10-game winning streak earlier in the month. They can take care of Charlotte as well. I agree limiting walks is key. ECU only issued 7 walks in the last 3 previous meetings with the 49ers. So some stats there from Johnny Stats as well as Lane Smith. So still just very curious to see who ECU goes with on the mound today. Weigh in the chat. Who do you feel like the Pirates should throw? We'll discuss some of that. I am leaning towards what we talked about yesterday, Philip. I have no inside information. I should say this, but I think there's a good chance ECU tries to repeat what happened in the finale against Charlotte in the Queen City and start Jake Hunter and then followed up with Sean Jenkins. Although I have heard at least some discussion of Jenkins starting. I just hate to put a 17-year-old, I guess he's now 18, but a freshman in that spot with your season on the line.
Look, man, you said it. What's going to kill you? When a solo shot becomes a 3-run shot. Jake's going to let up a solo blast, maybe 2. But are there going to be guys on the base when he does it? Hopefully not. And if there are guys on the base, it's going to be because they ripped the double down the line because he made them earn it. He's not going to give you the freebies. I think you have to be in a position where force them to beat you. And obviously, look, if Sean's on and Jake's on, Sean's better than Jake. But Jake's more consistent. Jake is 22, 23. Jake has played in probably 10 times as many college baseball games as, well, probably 4 times, I guess, as many, but appeared and thrown as many than Sean Jenkins. Like, I think you just got to play to you. And maybe I'm saying, hey, play not to lose instead of play to win. Maybe I'm too passive. Maybe I'm too conservative. I don't know. But I want Jake to start, man. I think it gives you the best chance to win, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm leaning Jake. You know, I wouldn't be opposed to Jenkins, but it's the same reasons we talked about. As Lane says, who would you throw? I would lean Jake. I mean, he did throw, I think, 10, 11 pitches on Tuesday, but obviously plenty of time to rest and go give you a couple innings as an opener, see how long he could go. I mean, he threw in the first game of the UTSA series to finish that off, and then started the next day and went, I think, 5 innings in his final appearance inside Clark LeClaire Stadium. So I'm also tempted by Lance Williams, who, he did pitch. Lane wants to know, how did Lance Williams do against Charlotte? Lance pitched in that Sunday game as well. 1 inning, 2 hits, 2 strikeouts. You know, with Lance, it's a lot like Brad Pruitt and a lot of ECU pitchers. The stuff is fantastic. And usually you can tell if he's on or off pretty early. You know, if you get on Lance Williams, he could easily go out there and spin 2, 3 scoreless innings. But if he's off and you start walking guys, then you're playing right in the Charlotte strengths. So that's how I would feel. I wouldn't be shocked if they went Lance Williams, but that's just why I would assume they would be wary of going that route. Now, if you get deeper in the tournament, you need another start. I think Lance makes perfect sense, if not out of the bullpen today.
So here's the thing. Losing today is not technically a death sentence, which it almost is. Also, I would rather, and I'm not saying that Lance doesn't care. I'm not saying Sean doesn't care. They're competitors. They want to win. But let's call it what it is. Let's say no way in hell you win the tournament if you don't win today. I'm going to throw the guy whose career's on the line. We lose, Jake Hunter never plays college baseball again. So who's going to go out there and want it more than Jake Hunter? Nobody. He doesn't want his career to come to an end. He wants to play next weekend. He wants to go to Omaha. I know everybody wants to, but there is no next year for Jake Hunter. So, and would that matter? Who knows? But I would almost rather live and die with the guy that I know 100%, no questions asked. Did he pitch his ass off one last time? I mean, this guy has been committed to this program. He loves it here. He's a Pirate guy. He's a Cliff guy. I'm ready to live and die with Jake Hunter.
Can't disagree for sure. All right, we will get a break in. We'll circle back later, talk some more Pirate baseball. We'll also get into a crazy night in the NBA playoffs last night later in the program. But next up, after this break, we'll talk Greenville Yard Gnomes. The Coastal Plain League affiliate is set to begin another season this weekend. We'll tell you about that and more. We've got field manager Jack Schaefer as well as general manager John McCormick. They'll join us next in studio talking Yard Gnomes baseball after this.
The team of Flatlands Jessup is working overtime to help ensure that Eastern North Carolinians like you get the health insurance help you need this open enrollment period. New legislation passed meaning more people than ever qualify for affordable coverage. Let us help you today.
Are you ready to tackle those yard and garden projects? Come by East Carolina Tractor and Fleet, your local Coyote dealer, and check out their great selection of residential and commercial Coyote tractors. From zero-turn mowers to compact tractors to skid steer loaders, they've got you covered. Some with 0% financing for qualified buyers. Stop by your hometown Coyote dealer, East Carolina Tractor and Fleet, across from the Pitt County Fairgrounds or online at ectfleet.com. East Carolina Tractor and Fleet. We dig dirt.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
At Parker's Barbecue, our family has been serving your family for 3 generations.
For that, we say thank you.
Blessing families every Thursday. Kids eat free all day. That's the Parker's way.
Legendary food served from our 3 locations. Always quick, always delicious. That's the Parker's way.
At Parker's, our mission is to impact our customers through Christ-like service in a way that feeds them both physically and spiritually. That is the Parker's way.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
Tired of the 1-800 numbers advertising Medicare products? Flatlands Jessup has 6 offices all throughout Eastern North Carolina. You get face-to-face help from our local award-winning licensed team. Stop by today. Flatlands Jessup, your whole world covered.
Get ready to board.
We're live with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Now, back to Hoist the Colors.
All right, welcome back in. Hoist the Colors on a Thursday, May 22nd edition of the show. Pirate baseball coming up this afternoon. Again, we'll have a watch-along whenever that game gets going, so tune in to our Twitter feed on Hoist the Colors as well as our 94.3 The Game Facebook and YouTube pages. But right now, we're going to talk Greenville Yard Gnomes baseball from the Coastal Plain League. In studio, we've got General Manager John McCormick and Field Manager Jack Schaefer. Gentlemen, how's it going?
Doing well, man. How about yourself?
Doing good, doing good. All right, so we'll start with let's start with John McCormick. So I'll introduce both of you guys, and we'll get more into the team itself. But John, you're a former 94.3 The Game intern. I know you've had a lot of different titles, but what's it like to be home in the IBX Media Studios?
Feels good. Feels good. Was on with Henry this morning, and back here now. Very familiar studio. Spent a year or 2 years here, so always good to come back.
And we also have Jack Schaefer, and you're going into your second year with the Yard Gnomes. So tell us a little bit about your background and just in baseball in general, what got you into this realm of obviously Summer League baseball and everything.
Sure. So in terms of Summer League, this is, again, second year here with the Yard Gnomes. Very glad to be back. First head coaching opportunity.
Spent a couple summers in the Northwoods League as an assistant before coming out here. And during the spring season, I'm coaching at Wallace Dothan Community College down in Alabama.
Okay, and Alabama to Greenville, North Carolina. It's
Yeah.
quite a difference. So, I don't know, are you fine living summer in Greenville? Like, what are the differences there in terms of having to make that move for 2 consecutive summers?
Oh, it's fun. I have some family out here in the Fugue Wave Arena area and Wilson as well, so nice to get close to some family during the summer. But no, it's great. The Greenville community really kind of took us in last year and met some great people. Southern hospitality is definitely a thing, but Greenville seems to take it to another level, which is awesome.
No doubt, baseball important here as well, which we'll get into how to support the Greenville Yard Gnomes. So back to John. So you were with the Wood Ducks, the Down East Wood Ducks in Kinston. Yeah. So first year for you with the Greenville Yard Gnomes. What's the transition been like? And I know you've been involved in a lot of obviously wood bat leagues and in the Coastal Plain League before. So it's kind of the transition to become a general manager here.
Yeah, it's been great. The Yard Gnomes are a growing team, obviously, after 1 year, a building team. For me and my wife, though, when the Wood Ducks were leaving town and we kind of had a heads up, we were looking at all of our options. Just so happened that the Yard Gnomes were coming under new ownership with the Pettit family and connected with me. So early on, I was able to start in the role in late November, December. And we wanted to be in Greenville. We wanted to stay here, and this was a great option to be able to do that. And like I said, with a growing team, a second-year manager, I think we're trending in the right direction.
So obviously you guys play at Guy Smith Stadium, and you guys will have Fan Fest tonight. The season opener's tomorrow, so I just want to make people aware of that as well. And it is a long season. Goes, through August 1st, the regular season?
Hopefully through August 11th.
So is that would that be the postseason?
Cup finals or August 11th could be the last game.
So it's a long season. You guys get started this weekend. So Fan Fest this afternoon, tell us a little bit about that for anybody listening, chance to take the family out there and really experience a lot of fun.
Yeah, exactly. You hit it. It's a family event. It's from 4 to 7. We're starting it earlier because at 4:30 the Pitt Greenville Chamber of Commerce will be doing a ribbon cutting. So we'll have some speeches. Jack will talk. Our owner's in town, Jerry Pettit. The mayor will be out there, PJ, talking baseball. He's a big supporter of ours, and hopefully a lot of people will be showing up. And then after 4:30, we're going to open up the field, batting practice for anybody who wants to try to hit one out or lay down a bunt, whatever you can do. Come out and try it, play catch on the field. All the players are going to be there, so it's a great time to meet the Yard Gnomes that are going to be with us for the summer. We're also going to have about 12 different vendors. The Kona Ice truck will be there. And I mentioned it earlier on Henry's show. I guess fairy hair is a popular thing with young girls, so we're going to have a hairstylist out there doing that. So try to get something for everybody in the family to come out and enjoy.
Sounds like a great time, and all that is free to attend. Obviously, you got to pay for any things from the vendors, but it is free to attend. Just wanted to point that out.
$1 hot dogs.
$1 hot dogs. Can't complain there. That is obviously a big selling point as well. All right, so you've got the general manager title.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you putting together a roster, or is that more Jack's job? Like, what's that? Or are you more like in charge of like the sales stuff? Like, are you like a MLB GM? Like, kind of explain that a little bit.
Not as much. Yeah. More on the similar to a minor league GM, where the player development side and the roster construction primarily runs through Jack.
Okay.
And Jack has been working on that really since last season, and the coaching staff. So when we came on and we talked with Jack and Jerry and Jess, Pettit talked with Jack, a lot of that roster was kind of in place in the fall. You have to plan out pretty far. Obviously nowadays, you still deal with injuries and players getting shut down, so forth, but you have the transfer portal and a lot of different pieces. So Jack, we let him build out the roster, and then on the business side of it, anything you can think of, we manage here.
All right, so Jack, your first year as head coach was last year. Mm-hmm. Before we get into like putting together a roster, just how much did you learn? I mean, you had been an assistant, but being the head guy is a little different, I assume, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. Worked for some pretty good head coaches that kind of keep the behind the scenes, and just kind of let the assistants and graduate assistants do their duties. But yeah, being the head guy, it's a brand new ball game, man. Learned a lot and went through some things in a first year organization, which is good moving forward in terms of an experience standpoint. But no, I learned a lot, and like I said, just excited to be back for year 2.
So putting together a roster for a summer league team, it's hard enough for like we obviously cover ECU, for them to put together a roster with the portal right now. So what's it like for you? Is this a year-round thing? You're working your contacts, or how do you go about doing that? Like, how does it even come together?
Yeah, so I mean, the season ends, hopefully early to mid-August, which is awesome. But then kind of the month of September, guys get back on campus, teams kind of see what they have coming back, coming in. But basically that late September, early October, calls are going out, trying to see, who you're trying to place. Relationships with schools that we've worked with in the past, new relationships from other schools in the area. And it just kind of works out. Typically the roster is pretty much set mid to early December. And then obviously during the spring season, you just kind of keep an eye on stats, and guys get shut down, guys get hurt, still taking names and calls from coaches, and just trying to put the best roster on the field as possible.
What's the limits? How many players can you have?
You're allowed 40 on the roster. Yep.
And obviously some ECU personnel will be represented, their season ongoing, but who from ECU's team is projected to join you guys?
Yeah, so we have Michael Kalinich coming behind the plate. Very excited to have him, especially the lefty bat. David Lillis is another position player. He'll help us out in the outfield. And then from a pitching standpoint, we have J.D. Little, left-handed pitcher, and then Lance Williams coming in as well.
So we were talking about Lance earlier, man. He's got some great stuff.
Yeah.
So are you excited to work with him? I mean, sure, all the guys, but have you watched any video or anything of him?
Yeah, watched a couple ECU games during the spring, and Lance started a couple of those, and he's got electric stuff, man. Very excited. Again, hopefully it'll be a couple weeks. ECU can make a run here. But yeah, whenever he gets here and the rest of those guys, very excited to get to work with them.
How tough is it, too, because I assume most of these pitchers have, especially the pitchers, even position players, have an innings restriction where they want them to get work in, but they also don't want to get overworked. How is that balance for you to kind of manage?
Yeah, it's tough, but communication's the biggest thing. Obviously talking with the kid, number one, but also the coaching staff. Lance has thrown a good amount of innings for ECU in multiple roles, which is awesome. So when he gets here, maybe some restrictions, maybe not. We'll just kind of work through that. But the most important thing is to send them back healthy after the summer, and so I always yield to what the coaching staff wants out of those guys.
We're visiting with the Greenville Yard Gnomes. We've got General Manager John McCormick and Jack Schaefer, the field manager, in studio. And I did want to hit, before we go back to more of the team discussion, John, for fans who are looking for tickets, season ticket packages, I saw y'all had a pretty cool Friday game package as well. Can you hit on that? What all does that entail, and what are some of the different options for fans who maybe want those options?
Yeah, yardgnomesbaseball.com is the easiest way to find all of it. My cell phone number is also on the website, so if you click on the page,
just spam his phone.
Call
guys,
me.
Yep.
We'll help you out. We'll get you straight. One thing that when we took over in the wintertime, we just reevaluated everything. And one of those was tickets and ticket pricing. So I think it's worth noting that our tickets have not quite got cut in half, but it's $225 for the summer, which is 30 home games. And when we make the playoffs, those will be included with your season tickets. It was one of those things where we wanted to make sure that we're at an affordable price point for everybody. And if you want to just come out and walk up to a game at Guy Smith, it's $10, which – when you look at entertainment options and bringing out a family anywhere, we tried to come in a little bit cheaper or level with anything else you could do in Greenville.
What do y'all have anything planned for? Let's say I got a soon-to-be 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. If I want to take them out to a game and somewhat entertain my kids, anything going on at the ballpark to keep them entertained at times, or is it just good old-fashioned baseball, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think in summer ball you get both.
Yeah.
Right? Like we're going to have the guys playing hard on the field and playing good baseball, but then in between innings and off the field, we have a lot more access to the players. So players will be in the stands. We have our inflatable kind of pitching area where kids can actually pretend to pitch to a batter into inflatables. On the field, we're going to have games between almost every inning where we probably will have at points maybe the baby race and things like that.
Always a big
hit. And then our staff has been putting together some games that you probably haven't seen before. And so we're going to get as many kids and as many people on the field as we can. Obviously, we have 2 minutes between every inning, and we want to make it entertaining as well as having a good product on the field.
Looking forward to that. Jack, I actually got to meet one of your pitchers, Jacob Boland. He was by the studio the other day. I heard he was going to start the season opener, correct?
Yeah, yep. He'll be starting the season opener tomorrow, and we're looking forward to getting him on the bump. Should be a fun one.
So he's from Chipola Junior College, obviously one of the top JUCOs in the country as far as baseball and really all sports. This early in the process, like how are you managing the roster? Because you're probably going to have a swell of players join you next week after a conference tournament. So do you have a lot of community college guys this early? Do you have to kind of rework some things once you get more guys in?
Yeah, we'll have to rework some things, but again, kind of have a plan in place. As long as everything plays out, we'll be okay. But yeah, the roster's definitely got some JUCO guys, some Division II, Division III guys, NAI guys as well, who have already concluded their seasons, and we'll have a couple D1 guys coming out here in the next couple weeks. We do have some guys that are still Division II, Division III. They're still playing in their playoffs as well.
Any other local flavor that come to mind that you know about from these parts that will be represented on the Yard Gnomes this year?
Yeah, we have a couple, man. Mitch Jones, currently at Pitt Community College. He's going to help us out. Then we also have two Kinston boys, Luke Cannon, who's also at Chipola, and then John Howard, who just had a great year at Mount Olive. Ty Williams will be helping us out. He's from Lenore, another local kid, and we have some returners too from last summer that really kind of integrated themselves in the Greenville community, and Dana Ramirez and Joe Ciervo, so that'll be a good setup too.
I wanted to ask you too, obviously Jack Herring, had a huge year for y'all last year.
Yeah.
He's now playing for the Pirates, hitting in the 2-hole most recently. So what's it like seeing a guy who, was a non-D1 player last year, broke out with you guys, goes to ECU, and now he's a pretty prominent piece of that team?
It's awesome, man. I keep in touch with Jack still, and I actually coached him the previous summer in Bismarck, North Dakota, in the Northwoods. Then when I got the head job out here, he was my first call. I wanted to coach him again, and he was all about it. And I just ended up transferring to ECU, which was great. No, that was awesome, and glad to see the success that he's having on the field.
So Greenville Yard Gnomes season opener will be Friday. The Greensboro Ducks. Do y'all consider that like the main rival? I don't know. Is there a main rival? Is it too early in the Yard Gnomes era? I don't know. What do you think, John and Jack? Any thoughts? Who's the biggest rival?
I mean, I think there's always rivalries throughout the. We played a lot of really good competition last year. Obviously, Peninsula was the best team in the league in the regular season. We played them tough every time out. Hank does a good job every year with those guys. And last year with Capital Broadcasting, owning the Yard Gnomes, they also own the Holly Springs Salamanders, so had a little bit of rivalry with them. Again, Brian Roundtree does a great job over there. I mean, at the end of the day, all these teams are really good, and depending on the situation, rivalries can start at the drop of a hat. So I think as long as we're ready to go and, just do our thing, we'll see how that all develops.
Last thing for you, Jack, just what would you say to the average fan who's like, all right, do I want to go check out one of these games? What type of brand of baseball will you guys bring to the table this summer?
We'll be tough, man. We'll be tough. We'll play hard. Hopefully hit the ball well and throw the ball over the plate.
That's always a positive.
I think if we can do that, we'll have a pretty good chance of being successful. But no, the guys are going to play hard. They're going to have fun. They're going to be good people off the field. So I think that's a good expectation for the group.
And John, anything else you want to get out there? I'm looking at the merch now on the site. I mean, that's got to be a big hit. A lot of cool stuff with the hats and the shirts. Anything you want to promote before we let you guys go?
Yeah, it's worth mentioning with our opener on Friday night, scheduled for 6:30. J.H. Rose also plays at Guy Smith. They're playing tonight on the road at Terry Sanford in Game 2. Hopefully they take care of business. That's what everybody wants. Win Game 2, sweep that series, win the East. If they don't, they would come back home on Friday. And so we would move our game up and work with them. We'd start at 4. They would start at 7-ish. And that would be turned into a doubleheader. So keep an eye on that Rose game tonight, and if Rose doesn't close it out, then we'll have a doubleheader. You can come out to our game, hang out, and then your ticket's valid for that Game 3 final game in the East.
Well, we'll definitely keep an eye on that and keep fans up to date there. And again, FanFest tonight for those tuning in That'll be 4 to 7 at Guy Smith Stadium too. Correct. So all right, awesome. Well, Jack Schaefer, John McCormick with the Greenville Yard Gnomes, Season 2 of the Coastal Plain League affiliates. They'll be in action beginning Friday. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Looking forward to the season.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks for having us on.
Absolutely. Thanks. Jack Schaefer and John McCormick. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll circle back. ECU baseball, also a crazy night in the NBA with the Pacers and Knicks. We'll break that down and more. This is Hoist the Colors.
Hey, it's Jim Wells again with Wells Roofing and Gutters here in the beautiful community of Lindale, Bedford. At Wells Roofing and Gutters, we believe in quality first, and that's why we use Certainty shingles, which are manufactured in Oxford, North Carolina, a local company. In the event you ever do have a claim or a problem with your roof system, they're local and they come and take care of us in a timely manner. We could leave off some accessories and we could certainly save money, but we believe at Wells Roofing and Gutters in installing the correct way per manufacturer requirements, and we warranty your roof both in-house and also with our supplier who is Certainteed. For a job Wells done, no shortcuts taken, and a good quality job on your home, give us a call today, 252-227-8403. We also offer financing, 12 months, no interest, no payments.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked-to-order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
Loyal and bold. Loyal and bold, we're the purple and gold.
Yo ho ho!
And we're back to Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in. Hoist the Colors, segment 3 coming your way right now. We just talked Greenville Yard Gnomes baseball. Get out there, support those guys. Opening day will be Friday. And again, what happens with the Rose game could shift the start time, but scheduled right now, 6:30 start on Friday, could start early in the day if Rose falls in the playoffs. So we'll keep you up to date there and get out and support those guys, part of the Coastal Plain League. Philip Pilkington producing behind the glass, and conference tournaments ongoing. Again, ECU will play this afternoon. We'll have the live watch-along to go with that around 4:30-ish. So once we see how the initial game is going, which starts at 1 o'clock between Tulane and UTSA, we'll have a better idea of where exactly the game will start or what time, because it's 47 minutes after the conclusion of that contest. Conference tournaments ongoing throughout the country, and a lot of scores we can get into here in a little bit, but I do want to talk some NBA just because last night was just an insane game. Let's see if I can find the stat that I retweeted. The Indiana Pacers overcame a huge fourth quarter deficit to beat the New York Knicks on the road in the initial game of the Eastern Conference Finals. The stat was the Knicks led by 14 with 2:45 to play in the fourth quarter. Teams leading playoff games by 14-plus points in the final 2:45 of the fourth quarter at that time were 994-0. And now they are 994-1 because the Knicks lost. Now, we have a group chat, Philip, with a couple of Knicks fans, including one Joe Sampson. And I had another group chat with James Giglio and Brady Thomas, and James was saying, how can the Knicks recover from this choke, which is a fair question. But I almost thought, watching it live, certainly the Knicks could have done a lot of things better. To me, it was more about the Pacers just could not miss. Like, I guess when you blow this big of a lead, you have to have an epic comeback combined with a bit of a choke. But I really thought it was more Pacers than Knicks. Am I off on that?
No, I'm with you. We go back to game 1 and game 2 of the last series. I felt like the Celtics more choked it away. The Knicks never really put together a run. This was one of those situations where the Pacers probably played their best, 4 or 5 minutes of basketball there that they had played all season long. Now, with that being said, could the Knicks have done some things differently? Hindsight being 20/20, yes. Could they have learned from some of the mistakes of the Celtics? Yes. And they obviously experienced those 2 games firsthand, so they kind of had a playbook for what not to do. But I do want to credit the Pacers for last night. Now, Halliburton, after hitting the shot to tie it and then doing a choking emoji, is a jerk. And, I mean, what a moron. Oh, we tied it up. We're going to overtime to do the choking thing? Like, what an idiot. But anyways, because you hadn't even won the game yet. They do win the game. But, yeah, I just think, like you said, they came together when it mattered most, and I almost wonder if that's less demoralizing to the Knicks than it would have been to, like, the Celtics, who ended up doing it again. Because, like I said, could they have done things different? Sure, but I feel like it is more credit to the Pacers, so I think they can bounce back because they just know their opponent played the best 4 or 5 minutes of basketball they played all year.
I believe the Pacers hit at least 6 consecutive threes. And then that final shot, which was a 2, but basically was a 3. If you watch the game, you know what I'm saying. His toe was on the line to Halliburton. So, they made 7 consecutive threes. It's kind of difficult to say the Knicks choked it away, but just an incredible run by Indiana. I am very torn on what happens from here because part of me is this is the Knicks. You lose in that fashion, it could crumble quickly. But we also have to remember the Knicks did really play well for the vast majority of the game. Looked like the better team. So I'm still saying Knicks in 7. I think this is going to be a game that goes 7, although part of me is man, do the Pacers the Pacers look almost like a team of destiny. They had an incredible comeback against the Bucks. They did it against the Cavs one time. The shot from Halliburton really hit, when does that bounce ever go through? I mean, it hit the back iron and floated 10 feet in the air and then went through the net. So it almost makes you think maybe this is just going to be one of those years for Indiana.
Maybe it is. When you look back at teams who win it, obviously there's dominant teams, but those don't happen every year. Every year it's man, there was that shot. Let's go back to the Raptors, right? When they won it in 2019, the quadruple doink from Kawhi, corner 3 falling out of bounds. And if that shot doesn't go in, do the Raptors ever win the NBA title? So I think sometimes the basketball gods do just have to sprinkle a little fairy dust on some of your shots. I mean, and I think it's that way in every sport, right? Sometimes you just need the ball to bounce your way, the puck to bounce your way, whatever it is. And, we see it all the time. I mean, obviously the Rams didn't win it that year, but you think of the weird no pass interference call that got them into the Super Bowl against the Saints. So you got to be talented enough to put yourself in that situation, but sometimes you need that fairy dust.
We have Robert Matthews says it was like Reggie Miller was back, and yeah, he was on the call for TNT and was pointing at Halliburton, which was pretty iconic there, as he did a good job of not showing his bias as a former Pacer, but obviously I'm sure he's definitely internally happy, if not a little externally happy as well, with that point to Halliburton. So I tell you what, man, we've had this discussion. I think we had it on the watch along the other day. It all runs together after a while. But I feel like the NBA playoffs, whether you're a fan or not, have been pretty incredible this year. Most of the games have come down to the wire in a lot of cases. Usually have a decent amount of blowouts in the playoffs, and there still have been some. But I've been thoroughly entertained this entire playoff, even with the Nuggets being out. I'm going to be locked in. I'm going to be locked in, and we'll see what happens with OK Minnesota. But I think Knicks Pacers is going to be fun going forward. How about we'll hit NHL for our final break. Philip, Edmonton was leading 3-1 and looked to be in control of the game. And something about the third period with the Dallas Stars at home, like they just come alive. They score 5 unanswered goals to win 6-3. I guess they had the mojo going on as well, especially in that building we've talked about on this show. Like they lost the first game to the Avalanche and have been just pretty dominant ever since, especially in their building.
They have been. And, this Western Conference, and there's been a couple games in the Eastern Conference too, but there's been 4 or 5 games now in the West where guys or teams just come out and put together amazing third periods. I mean, historic numbers, 5 goals there. Now, obviously, I think the last one I'm pretty sure was an empty netter, one of those in there, but I was more suited in the basketball game. But still, man, it shows the talent of these teams. It shows the attitude and how they don't crumble when the going gets tough. That's the thing, man. We talk about the physical toughness of hockey players. These guys are so mentally tough too. They're not prima donnas. They don't get upset when things don't go their way. They don't cry like the NBA players and the NFL players. They just work harder, and it's showing in these playoffs. It's showing a lot with this Stars team, especially in that building, and it's what championship teams are made of.
So tonight we have Game 2, Panthers-Hurricanes. Do the Hurricanes bounce back tonight?
Yeah, I think they do, man. They just came out and looked really flat the other night. They just didn't look like themselves, and sometimes that can happen. You won the previous series in 5, so you were out quick. You maybe had too many days off, whereas Florida had not had as many days off, and sometimes that happens. I remember there was one year, I want to say it was the 2019 season, where every team who swept or won in 5 in a series went on to lose the next series. It was almost like they were too rested. They were out of their groove, and I think that's what happened to Carolina the other night. And I think they'll be back tonight. Do they win? Who knows? I think it's going to be a 50-50 game. I would predict them to win, but at the end of the day, I think they'll definitely play a much better hockey game, and they'll look like themselves.
Panthers lead that series 1-0 going again to Carolina tonight. We'll see if they could steal 2 on the road before heading back to Florida. All right, we're going to break in. We'll come back. We got a question on Facebook from our guy Don Vickers. We'll address that on the other side, and then we will wrap up with final thoughts on ECU Charlotte, lead you into the watch along and more. This is Hoist the Colors.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
Your roof is a vital part of protecting your home and family from dangerous storms and hurricanes. At Assist Roofing, we install and maintain metal roofing that provides precise protection. Add value to your home while lowering utility costs with a fortified roof to last a lifetime. With 0% financing, grants, and Energy Star Green Roofing tax credit available. Call us to schedule a free consultation so you can weather any storm with confidence.
Make every day electric on the Kawasaki Electro 20 electric balance bike. Maximize the fun with long run times, impressive top speed, and Kawasaki build quality. Easy adjustability and smooth handling make everyday riding more enjoyable. And the standard MTB type tires provide off-pavement capability. The Kawasaki Electro 20 is the electric balance bike that's built to rip. Go to Ron Ayers Motorsports, Memorial Drive north of the airport, Greenville.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's cut in color. And let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
If you are interested in living longer and living stronger, Eastern Physical and Lifestyle Medicine is accepting new patients for a limited time. Finding a caring physician can be a challenge. Dr. Billy Smith is board certified in physical medicine and lifestyle medicine and has been practicing in the area for many years. Call for an appointment now to Eastern Physical and Lifestyle Medicine, 252-364-1108 in Greenville. That number again is 252-364-1108.
Looking for a great deal on a new Nissan? At Greenville Nissan, we've got a great selection of new Nissans for under $30,000. The stylish Nissan Sentra, offering top-notch fuel economy. The Nissan Altima, known for its comfort and technology. The Nissan Kicks, the perfect combination with its compact design and performance. The Nissan Versa, delivering incredible value without compromising on features. And don't forget the Nissan Rogue, an award winner for 10 years in a row. Drive it home just for $22 down and $349 a month. Visit GreenvilleNissan.com today. Greenville Nissan, where we drive to serve.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227. You got here just in time. This is Hoist the Colors on 94.3 The Game.
Final segment here, Hoist the Colors. We'll preview ECU Charlotte one final time. Got some comments. Philip Pilkington hanging out behind the glass as well. Bruce Willis, a.k.a. Buck Wild, on the Hoist the Colors message boards, he said, I would throw Colby Wallace first in and then bring in Jenkins in the second. Well, Bruce, if you do that, you automatically lose the DH right away. So, correct?
Yeah. There's no Shohei rule.
Let's not do that.
I don't even think the Shohei rule applies to moving you into the field or bringing you in from the field. It's just if you start as a pitcher and a DH, you can come out at pitcher and stay in at DH is the Shohei rule. But
gotcha.
Yeah, you can't do the position player thing.
Let's don't do that, Bruce. We don't want to give away a free out in the first inning.
Yeah, I mean, hey man, you got Ben Terwilliger out there, maybe it'd be a different story. I mean, he was hitting ropes back at Cincinnati 3 years ago.
He says, "Knew it, dang, sorry." Should we forgive him or should we just?
I understand, man. Dude, this conference tournament's got us all out of whack. I mean, there were games in it at 2:21 this morning. I mean, come on. Everybody's mind's a little mumbo-jumbo right now.
Yeah, so you brought up the fact Boston College, Virginia started at like 11 o'clock. And, man, 12-8. By the way, Virginia, which was like a preseason national title contender, lost to Boston College 12-8. So their season, I believe, are they going to make the postseason? I think they may be done, period.
I think they're a bubble team.
Okay.
I think they're on the outside looking in, I think.
They were the number 6, so maybe they make it. But Aaron Fitt tweeted that with their season on the line, they laid an absolute stink bomb.
Okay, then they must be out.
Then I would assume that means they're out. But that game ended at 2:21 a.m. Eastern time. And you also have the SEC tournament, which is like playing past midnight every night, it seems like, especially these early. I mean, that's the problem with playing these 4 games in one day. And in this, knock on wood, the Americans been good the last few years, but there was that one year, like the whole first day got rained out, and they were playing on backfields and stuff. There's just, I don't know, there's got to be a better way to do this.
So I've been to deals where they play 4 basketball games in a day. That's a lot. You should not play 4 baseball games in one day. It is stupid. It doesn't make sense. We've set through 3 in a day many times in Greenville due to rainouts that have moved stuff around at regionals. It's long. It's not fair. And if you get, some of these teams, these conferences have too many damn teams is part of the problem. But like the American, why are you playing 4 games in one day? Well, because you have a stupid double elimination tournament. Put all 10 teams in there. Play single elimination. You can have 7, 10, 8, 9 day 1. Day 2 can be, 3, 6, 4, 5. Then day 3 can be the winners of the play-in games against the 1 and the 2, and then you have the semifinals and the final. Like, why is this so hard? The Big Ten has 4 pods. They do the little pod thing, but only 3 pods play each day. So it's still a long day, but if something goes haywire, you're not playing until 2:30 in the freaking morning. I mean, it's just idiotic. I mean, whoever's making these rules, use your head. This thing is 3 feet above your butt, in the words of Jimmy Dugan. And no, there's no crying in baseball, so don't cry that I made fun of you. Look, you can't say it's a money grab. It's college baseball. It ain't making nobody money by playing these extra freaking games. It's not the NBA.
And just let less teams in. If you have to play this amount of games because of how many teams you let in, it's baseball. You have a full season to earn your seed in your spot in the
Hell,
tournament.
the ACC won't let every basketball team in, and they let every baseball team in.
By the way, Cal does play again today.
Oh, my goodness.
It's a 3 o'clock start,
Okay.
though, against we have number 16 seeded Cal versus number 1 seeded Georgia Tech. I'm going to say the Golden Bears keep it going, and they win again.
I mean, the Yellow Jackets are solid, but they're not great.
They're beatable as a top seed of the ACC.
I mean, they had the easiest strength of schedule of everybody, and they took care of business. Now, I will give it to them. They got a lot of practice beating teams they should beat, because that's all they did all year long is beat teams they were supposed to beat.
Don Vickers on Facebook says, Tuesday night's watch-along was awesome. Looking forward to this afternoon. He also says, what is the status for Ethan Young with his blister issue? We have no formal update about Ethan Young's blister, but common wisdom would say it's highly unlikely he throws today, also based on the fact he threw like 60-something pitches. So I would be shocked if he took the mound today. As far as the blister, it's more of a how can he grip the baseball type thing moving forward? How is he going to be able to manage that? Is he going to be able to spin his curveball, get the right grip on his pitches to be effective? I think he would be available if you make it to Saturday, but we'll have to wait and see. But we'll try to figure out. Hopefully the Pirates can manage today without both Ethans, Ethan Orby and Ethan Young. We're out of time. Thanks to Philip Pilkington. Also, thanks to Jack Schaefer, John McCormick with the Greenville Yard Gnomes. Again, live watch-along this afternoon when ECU and Charlotte get underway. We'll be right here in the 94.3 The Game studios on Facebook, YouTube, and on our Hoist the Colors X page. We'll see you then. This has been Hoist